Hello people, this is Mark from Courage Change Works. As I said in another video, I'm going to talk about the three-prong approach, the three-prong attack tactics that I've experienced when it came down to the individual that I struggled with for many years. It's a combination of all the words that I've already said in the language bit. So if you haven't watched those, please go watch all the language ones, because there will be some stuff in there that is really important to understand. This is how my experience worked as far as the Narc was concerned. Number one, I got isolated, and marginalised is the word I would use, as I did in the other videos. I felt like I was being cut off from my oxygen, my parents, friends, and it was like, let's go to so-and-so. No. Or I would get invited somewhere for, at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, say, and the Narc would get ready at 1 o'clock, leave at 2:30. By then, the event is either over, or the appointment, the meeting, the get-together was over and done. And it was all about control and marginalising me from people. So I couldn't actually access friends and family particularly. So that was the first kind of tactic that was used to break you away from stuff, was my experience. And that is a classic tactic that the Narc uses. And the next thing was, I got dehumanized. What that means is, I can't remember if I actually mentioned this in one of the other videos, but dehumanization is where you are hollowed out as a human. Your views don't count, your opinions don't count. You're just an empty shell. I got dehumanized by silly things like, what color do you want to paint the kitchen? Let's say grey. No, it can't be grey, it's got to be black. Well, I don't particularly like black. It doesn't matter what you want, it's my kitchen. What colour carpet shall we have? It doesn't matter what you say, we can have these colours. What's your opinion on this? It doesn't matter about your opinion. What's your viewpoint on this? What's your experience on this? Doesn't matter. So I got dehumanized whilst being isolated. And what that does is it brings up an incredible amount of stress and vulnerability. And I started to feel, wow, I don't matter anymore. I felt like, and I did say this many a time, I felt like I was being managed by a bully. And of course, now that I'm free from it, I realize I was managed by a bully within a loving relationship. Terrible. But that was the second prong. One, isolation. Second, dehumanization. And then it was just grooming, baiting, future faking, threats, all this kind of stuff, all encompassed with denial. And that's the third prong, the denial of things. All the things that she did, all the things that she said, even today, she will deny stuff by saying it is, Mark, it's your fault. I don't take any responsibility for doing anything that I've done. The stress that I've caused, the loss of relationships, it's not my fault, pal. It is your fault. And it was all about this guilt tripping by isolating, dehumanizing, grooming, baiting. But it is dehumanizing, isolation, and then the main one was also denial. And that was the three-prong attack for me. Now, I know that there's other ways that the three-prong, maybe a four-prong or maybe a five-prong attack. I've never heard of Narcs attacking people with two or just one kind of tactic or technique. I always found that there was always they kind of corner you in from different angles, squeeze you in, and you've got nowhere to go. And 3 is the minimum that I know of. Maybe you guys have heard of other ways that they've done this. I would like to hear them in the comments, please. Maybe you've been attacked in one particular way, or maybe 2 ways. Add them in, because when this particular playlist gets out there in the channel, like I said, and everyone, please share and subscribe. This is going to be really interesting. It's all about empowering the survivor of the toxic relationship. But like I said in the beginning, this is my experience. The 3-prong attack. Nasty, nasty, nasty. There it is. And now that I'm free, I realize, man, it's been going on for years and years and years. Even before we encountered the relationship, when we were still platonic friends, shall we call it that? I didn't realize at the time. I wasn't aware about the Narc. I wasn't aware about toxic relationships. Things were already being planned without my knowledge, because of how deviously the schemes were. And when you love someone and you care about them, you kind of brush them away, and that's exactly what the Narc wants. They don't want to be exposed early. They wait 10, 15, 20 years before you go, oh my word. When that light bulb goes on, like in my case, 22 years down the line, it was like, really? And I'll say at this point that be aware that when you find out what you've been done to, you'll end up angry. You might end up being bitter. Your language will change. Your attitude will change to become a little bit aggressive. These are the things that I've experienced when I noticed and realized how much I was taken for granted in terms of my nature, in terms of being a nice guy, because I am, and the abuse that went on. It was maybe the last 3 years or so, 4 years, when I realized something's not right, but I couldn't put my finger on it. When I was starting to become a little bit stronger, but still incredibly weak compared to how I am now in terms of resistance. Certainly being kept in the dark as far as knowledge is concerned, because of how clever the Narc is. Guys, that is all I want to say at this particular point at this time regarding this particular video. Didn't make any sense there. But if this story and some of these words resonate, please put them in the comments. Let's get the word out there. There's a lot of people who are struggling with the Narc relationship and need some advice to try and get out there. Okay, so once you've done all the YouTube admin, the share, the subscribe, please tell all your friends and family to do exactly the same. Let's get this thing going. But for now, this is Mark from Courage Change Works. I'll speak to you soon.